Okay, so I was just going to tell you guys what I'm doing with the tomatoes and peppers and trellises this year. I think I mentioned, I thought I was going to build some sort of fancy overhead trellis system, and yeah, that's just not going to happen. What I ended up going with was just a panel and T-post system, much simpler. Just set a few T-posts, set a few panels. It will be maybe a little bit messy to clean up in the fall, but I'm hoping once the plants die out of it, I can just come through with a weed burner and just burn them out, or I can, rip them out by hand, whatever. But what I wanted to mention to you guys right now is, the issue that I'm dealing with now, and last year it got me because I put up a trellis way after the fact. The tomatoes were already a bushy mess. Tried tying them all up. And last year I just did a couple T-posts with a heavy gauge wire strung in between them as a header, and that didn't work worth a hoot. So the panels are better, they're self-supporting, but even still, I was gone. I was out of town for almost a month. I had my neighbor come by and set the panels up, so I can't complain. He did exactly what I asked him to do. But no one tied the plants up as they started to grow. The idea is that as the plant grows, you can just weave it back and forth through the panel. But that part didn't happen. So the panels got put up, and then the plants just fell over in the aisle, like you can see, and aren't tied up like they're supposed to be. So I'm having to go through now today. I'm trying to get ahead of it. It's an overcast morning. It's relatively cool out. I'm pruning the tomatoes pretty heavy. Everything that I'm pruning out, I'm putting in a bucket of water for right now. I'm going to try to root them up. Might as well. I don't necessarily need the tomato plants, I don't think, but maybe I can sell them to somebody else, or maybe I will plant more. I don't know just yet, but I'm going to at least try, right? I'm committed to ripping them out. You can see some little stems on the ground here and leaves that I broke off. Not going to bother, but the bigger ones that I can, I'm keeping, and we'll try to root them up. Tomatoes root very, very well. You can root them, I think, just in a straight thing of water, but I'll try to root them up in, just some moist soil. But anyway, I just want to show that to you. Like this one, for example, I don't think I actually had to tie this plant at all. I just pruned it out a good bit on this side, and then just bent it over to weave it through. And now, every couple of days, I'll just weave it back through. And this is something I've talked about before. It is very hard to prune a plant when it looks so big and so bulky and so vigorous. You feel like you're destroying it to have to prune it. But I promise you, it's better in the long run. It's healthier for the plant. You can see, like this one, these leaves are all, starting to rot off anyway because they were laying on the ground. So you know what? Break it off. Who cares? You want these plants to be open, especially something like tomatoes that can get, a mold or mildew on them. You want them to be open. You want the air and the sunlight to be able to get through. It'll help ripen your fruit faster. You do not want this bushy, nasty mess on the ground. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that to you guys. I'm going to keep working through. It'd be great if I get it all done this morning. I don't know if I will or not, but I really need to. I got a lot more work I need to do in the garden as far as weeding and just getting caught up after being gone for so long. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention to you what I was doing. This one here, you can see, look how much dead and just nasty was on this one because it was laid over in the ground. Went ahead and got it picked up. I just put one tie right here on the central leader, and the rest of them are all pretty self-supporting. And I could certainly thin this out a lot more, and I may come back after the fact and thin even more, but for right now, I'm just trying to get them stood up off the ground and get a better idea of what I've got. Guess I'll try to get some footage for you guys here and show you. First step that I've got, looking back at this big plant, I'm gonna try to get all the way down here underneath and just lift it, okay? And just see what I can find. Being gentle, you don't want to break anything. But we want to lift it up. Oh, nope, didn't get it all. Lift it and try to find where it's even coming out of the ground as the first test. Break off some of this lower growth. Tomatoes are really easy to prune as far as breaking them off. There we go. So right in there is where it's coming out of the ground. So I'm going to prune off a couple of these big, heavy, like this big side limb coming out here. I'm going to go ahead and prune it off just because it's a big limb and it's coming out into the alley anyway. I'm going to try to start tying up the central leader back there. Look, you can see it's already trying to root. Tomatoes are exceptional rooters, so it's already trying to root where the stem was just touching the ground. But I'm going to break off a couple of these big main leaders that are coming out the front. tie up the backs and get this thing cleaned up. But I just want to show you, that's the first step, is getting under it just to even see what you got going on. Start cutting out in a few big ones just so you can open it up and see, and then tie up or twist up what you need to. All right, so the damage is done, or maybe it's an improvement, we'll see. It looks like an improvement. You can see the rows are much cleaner now. I've pruned out a lot. I've pruned out 2 buckets full of very large cuttings. I'm gonna try to root them up. We'll just see. I mean, tomatoes typically root really easy. So I've got them just in a little bit of water sitting there in the bucket. They're wilting pretty quick in the sun. But anyway, got them all tied back up. Didn't have to do near as much tying as I thought I would. Was able to stitch quite a few of them back through the panels, which again was the whole goal in the first place. So as long as you stay on it every couple of days, you know, just stitch a few limbs back and forth, it should work pretty well. And as the bottom, you know, the lowest stems start to fruit and, you know, pick, then we'll keep pruning all that out so they'll get, you know, taller and cleaner the whole time. Should be anyway. Should make it a lot easier to maintain. So yeah, that's good. If you guys remember from when I planted them, I planted a tomato and a pepper, tomato, pepper, tomato, pepper. So you see the pepper plants are in between the tomatoes. They're doing pretty good. Already picked a whole bunch of chili peppers the other day off of those. And then I came back through between the tomatoes and peppers and planted cucumbers. So my cucumbers, when I was looking the other day, I thought, man, they're hardly growing at all, but they must have just wanted some sunshine, because all of a sudden today I found a whole bunch of them. I was really thinking, you know, that I had really poor germination, but I found a lot of them today. I definitely found enough that if they all grow and you know, grow up on this trellis like I want them to, it'll be plenty of cucumbers. So I'm not upset about that. There's our first one blooming. Got a little baby cucumber on the bottom of it there. Anyway, the point of the video was the tomatoes. Got them cleaned up. Now I'm gonna go see if I can dirt up what I've got here and get some more.